Howdy, folks. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you folks, I have a new Robotech video because I'm going to be diving into the world of Robotech, and I'm going to be taking time to discuss Project Excalibur, what it is, and a bit about the history of, well, kind of what we have available. We don't have a whole lot available, at least in great detail when it comes to Project Excalibur. But I'm going to discuss what's there and pretty much what it gave us within the world of Robotech. But with all that being said, really quickly, I want to take time and ask you for your support. I could really use your help, especially dealing with the YouTube algorithm. Likes, comments, subscriptions, shares, that all helps me out as a growing YouTube channel. Also, I do have a Patreon page that you can check out. The link is down below in the video description. I like to use my Patreon as a good way to keep the fan base informed about what is coming sometime soonish. But anyway, let's get into it. Project Excalibur. What is it? Well, essentially, in generalized terms, it's the project that gave us the Destroids within the world of Robotech. And it was headed by Colonel Antony Leonard, who would end up becoming the supreme commander of the Southern Cross in later iterations of Robotech, which is pretty cool how they, once again try to make tie-ins from other shows to kind of link all of Robotech together, if you will. Also, with that being said, that kind of probably explains the design, if you will, of the hover tanks. I kind of feel like it gives a more in-universe explanation of the overall design of the hover tanks, because honestly, to me, the hover tanks are more relatable to the Destroids than they are the Veritech, even though it is a transforming vehicle. So what was the overall goals of Project Excalibur? Well, in general terms, it was to basically replace tanks and many other frontline vehicles for essentially combating an upcoming alien threat, or at least an alien threat that Earth Defense Forces was perceiving could possibly happen in the near future. And essentially, this is after the crashes, the SDF-1, the different things that were going to be coming, kind of what they learned from the SDF-1 and what they found. And pretty much they decided that, well, we need to bolster our military and we need to start preparing. And one of the first iterations of robotechnology that was used by humans on Earth would actually be the Destroids. Now, with that being said, some side-by-side projects that was also going on to bolster the Earth defense military was the Project Lancer, which gave us the SF-3 aerospace fighter, and then, of course, Project Valkyrie, which gave us the VF-1, which I'll be discussing a bit in the future. Now, there was kind of a bit of an issue that happened with Project Valkyrie, and essentially there was a lot of risk. There was crashes, planes got, prototypes kind of took damage, got smashed, and essentially Project Valkyrie would kind of be shelved for a little bit, and funding would actually be shifted to Project Excalibur, because at the time Project Excalibur looked like a better project to run with. And when it was all said and over with, in 2006, Earth Defense Forces would receive its first Destroid in the form of the Tomahawk. Of course, other Destroids would come down the line, other variants, if you will, such as the Mach 2 Monster, which is kind of more or less a walking artillery piece, it's got 4 big battleship guns on its back. And then, of course, we would also have the Radar X or the Defender. Either name is interchangeable. Now, when it comes to overall performance in itself, well, realistically, the Destroids just did not perform realistically as well as the VF-1 especially when it came to against the Zentradi battle pods. But with that being said, it did work. It did do the job. Um, but yeah, it was not comparable to the VF1. The VF1 being just a much superior fighter, which I'll also get into here in the future when I discuss Project Valkyrie. But with that being said, all said and done, the Destroids had several advantages over the Valkyrie. It was a much more simple design. It wasn't transformable. They still packed a lot of firepower. They were cheaper units to produce. They were quicker to produce. A lot more of them could be produced. They could be produced in a wide variety of roles, everything dealing with anti-air to artillery to essentially frontline service when you look at the Tomahawk. Uh, and the list just goes on and on. Of course, there was also more personnel when it came available when it came to piloting Destroids because, well, essentially you didn't have to be a pilot. You more or less had to be kind of a tanker, really. And that's really all I got for you when it comes to Project Excalibur. We got a rather short one today. The future one that I have for Project Valkyrie is also going to be a relatively short one. I haven't gotten around to really working on it yet, but I'm going to be. With all that being said, hopefully you all like this video, and it kind of gave you a better idea of like the development process, not necessarily the process, but the development lines that kind of went through the universe of Robotech after the crash of the SDF-1. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in and have yourselves a wonderful day.